I think James White, um, with Jared Stidham at quarterback, I think a lot of people were fading James White. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this, he's not going to have everything that he did before because Tom Brady's not running the offense, and Stidham, you just don't know what you're going to get that necessarily. I think his production level now is basically equal to, if not greater than last year, because Cam Newton's at quarterback. Cam Newton's best season in Carolina was, and what they did for a lot of that, they didn't drive the ball down the field. They ran their offense a lot like how I think the Patriots are going to run theirs. And we'll kind of get more into this when we get to Cam. But what that means to me is James White. It means a lot of James White. You're going to see, him leak out of the backfield. You're going to see him on swing passes, on screen plays. They're going to find different ways to get their playmakers the ball. And the Patriots right now don't have a ton of skill position playmakers. So James White, Julian Edelman, maybe Keneal Harry, and you're going to find what Marquise Lee still has left in the tank because he's in there too. So I think we were going through his rankings. I think I have James White at 25th. I think I was the most uplifting on. Yep, 25th. So, and I'm feeling really good about that number now. I think he's going to be right there around that RB2 category. And I think that you're going to see James White used very similarly as we've seen him used here the last couple of years. And if Sony Michel can't find his way into being productive again, they're going to keep using James White. They're just going to use and abuse him because he's going to be the only guy out of the backfield that Bill will trust to put in those games.
Right. James Wright was an interesting one. When you look at it, he was running back 18 last year, did the majority of his work through the passing game, right? Like you looked at it, only about 67 rushes for 263 yards and 1 rushing touchdown. However, he had 72 receptions, 95 targets, saw just over 16% of the targets here for almost 650 yards and 5 touchdowns through the air. So lots of very interesting things there. And yeah, I could see Cam playing off of a receiving type of back very, very well. So, when he drops back, if things break down, James White's a guy that you can easily dump the ball off to, and he can make some things happen. He is a very good receiving back out of the backfield. So it'll be really interesting to see how those two kind of mesh and get on the same page and come together. And Kevin, you're right. You were more favorable towards James White in our rankings. I had him ranked 35th. Obviously, with the Cam news, things like that, some of these rankings need to be adjusted. And that's a guy that I'll be looking into and diving further into those, statting out that team to see if he moves up those rankings for myself.
Again, you're going to have to see how quickly that those two can build rapport. Because he is a pass catching running back. Like you're not going to see a majority of his work come from carries. A lot of his points are going to come from receptions and receiving touchdowns, like you said, Derek. So yeah, I think his stock does rise a little bit. I'm not sure that he's going to be flirting with running back 1 territory by any means, but for sure. That's pretty solid running back 2 category, and I think his numbers probably do equal or maybe increase a little bit depending on what type of rapport he and Cam get in terms of understanding the pass game, understanding when protections break down, and understanding will you be my safety valve and where will you be on the field when options 1 and 2 aren't available.
I think I could easily see James White with 75 to 80 catches. Somewhere around, 90 to 95 targets even. I mean, if his touchdown production picks up just a little bit and you go from 6 total touchdowns to, 8 or 9, I think you're cooking with gas here, and you're getting him at a super deep discount right now because, I have not done any drafts recently since Cam got signed, yesterday or 2 days ago. So I'm not sure where that was falling currently, but beforehand you were picking James White up at like RB, 32, 35 at times, kind of right where Derek had him ranked. And now, if you can get him that late, you're getting him at a value because you're getting a guy that you can trust, absolutely trust to put on in a bye week situation, in a flex, if the matchup is right, and really, if anything has shown us, or if we've learned anything, let's put it this way, if we've learned anything over the last 5 years, James White is the one Patriots running back that you can trust.
That is the biggest, headache that comes around with getting a Patriots running back on your team, is which guy is gonna have the week, which guy is gonna be the guy that week, because we've seen it where there's weeks where James White pops off, where Sony Michel pops off, and it seems like it's an all or nothing deal. It seems like it's James White's week, or it's Sony Michel's week, and you're not going to get very much out of James White, or you're going to get a ton out of James White, you're not going to get anything out of Sony Michel, or Rex Burkhead is still on the team and he's going to go off and go bonkers, and you're not going to see anything from those other two. So that's where it is. That's the frustrating part about getting a Patriots running back, is that you're not sure which guy, they're very good at game planning and making sure that they got the best situation for what they have. So I think that's where you kind of have to play that game of, okay, if I get a Patriots running back, I'd like it to be James White because he is the most consistent. If you get a Sony Michel, you're like, maybe he pops off this week, but you have to always keep him in your lineup because there's that possibility. So that's the headache that comes with getting Patriots running backs on your roster.